Moving on to, like I was mentioning before, this class is going to be highlighting how do you think as a data analyst. And to do that, we need to first of all establish who is a data analyst. If I were to ask somebody here, okay, what do you understand or what do you understand is a data analyst? I'm sure we might have similar ideas, but would we fully capture the essence of what being an analyst is? So beyond just what it is, what are the fundamental skill sets you should have as a data analyst? What are the things that are paramount for you to actually analyze data? And then again, I think I've touched a bit on this, but still going to be emphasizing the idea of tools as a means, not an end. So whatever skill that you are building, whatever technical skill, be it Excel, be it Python, be it Power BI, be it whatsoever, learning these skills does not make you a data analyst. They are tools that you use to complete data analytics task. So we'll get more into this when we get into that aspect, and then we'll have a course overview where we'll be discussing. We'll be reviewing, like I said, this is an introductory class. Our next class on Saturday will now be when we go fully into the program. So I'll be introducing what I put together for you guys today and how we are going to be structuring our learning to ensure that we are all prepared ahead of each class and how it goes forward. And also, Esther, I mentioned that it's going to be very engaging. I really hope we were all at the onboarding yesterday, because I made a lot of references to how the learnings are going to be. So we're also going to be talking about our activity. Every single class is going to have an activity. And like I mentioned as well, that there's going to be a reward for 5 random people that complete each activities. And it's a large number, and I cannot vouch that I'll be able to reward every body that completes activity, but 5 people will be picked as random and are going to receive something that hope is of value to each learner here, and then we'll now go into the Q&A section of the discussion. So if you have any follow-up question, or I think this is a good time to just ask before we proceed with the discussion today. So just quickly, a 1 minute, 2 minutes window for any follow-up question.
Alright, so if you guys have any questions that you would like to ask, can you just simply raise up your hands?
Yeah, just 1 more minute to do so before we proceed.
Okay, so we have Aminat.
Okay, Aminat. We can quickly take that question before we move into the discussion. Go ahead, please.
My question is, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but faintly though.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could speak louder. Thank you.
Okay. So my question is, what's the difference between a data analyst and a data scientist?
Okay, that's a very good question, and just hold on to that till the ending of the session today, and they'll just pick that up again. So please don't forget to just ask that question again.
Okay.
All right, thank you. So we'll move into that at the end. The reason why I asked that is because I'm going to be introducing what data analysis is in today's discussion. So my response to that question will be based off your understanding of what has been discussed today. So I think that question is best asked at the end of the discussion. So we'll just pick that up again. We're now moving fully to who is a data analyst. You easily Google, and if you Google it or search online to put something together, you will see that a data analyst is anybody that gathers data from different sources. So first keyword I want the house to hold on to is gather data. The next thing is it organizes and cleans data. That's something else I also want the house to hold on to. That's two activities that has been attributed to a data analyst. They gather data, they clean data, and they study it to find useful patterns and answers. And now when they find these useful answers and patterns, they don't just keep it in their pockets. They interpret these patterns and then they communicate them through reports and visualizations. All of these are activities that a data analyst carries out. It is not the work, it is not the aim or objective of data analysis. It is, again, it's a means to an end. The main objective of data analysis, what a data analyst actually does, is to enable stakeholders. Stakeholders are your managers in the office, the people that are interested in the project or the data analysis project that you've worked on. Whoever that might be, in whatever shape, way, or form, could be your audience. If you are posting to a larger audience, it could be your manager if you are creating a report for your manager at the office. But the idea is you are helping them make informed database decisions, and you are helping them drive data-driven action. This statement in blue is what a data analyst does. Every other thing is a means to doing this, which is enabling your stakeholders make informed database decision, and not just helping them make the decision, but ensuring that you are communicating your insight in such a way that it drives action, and not just any random action, but data-driven action. But then, what does this all mean? What I mentioned a couple of different tasks and that makes up what Exanis does, but how does it relate to a person? As a data analyst, you are a lot of things. I mentioned you are gathering data, you are cleaning this data, you are looking for patterns, you are interpreting this pattern, you are communicating. It's just so much, it's almost overwhelming. As a data analyst, you are essentially, you are like Sherlock Holmes. I don't know if you guys know about Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes is a detective that looks for clues to solve problems or mysteries or challenges. As a data analyst, you have to be a Sherlock Holmes. You have to be able to identify clues, pattern in your data, and draw inference or hypothesis based off these patterns. And you have to be able to make informed decisions or informed responses based off these patterns and insights you've driven. Of course, as a data analyst, you are also an artist. You are a painter. You need to be able to convey what you've discovered visually. You need to be able to visualize your thoughts, your insights. And what that inspires is because humans consume information if it's pictorially visualized about, I think, 0.5% faster rates than reading through it. Using visuals to communicate ideas allow the human mind to consume and understand this information easier. And that is what data is. You have to be an artist. You need to be able to paint a picture to your stakeholder. You need to be able to share your insight in the easiest way. It is in the most simplistic manner, and anybody is able to look at this visual and have an understanding of what you're trying to say to them and the action or the response you want them to take. Again, you need to drive action. You're not just creating the insight for them to consume. I'm like, interesting fun facts or interesting facts. You need them to make an action based on this insights. So you need to be able to visually read that inspires them, speaks to them, inspires action from them. As a data analyst, you have to be a newscaster. You need to know how to communicate your findings in the most interesting and engaging way. A newscaster is someone that goes in, tells his, they do their investigation, they go to tell his own. I'm sure a couple of us still watch the news. Some of us have had parents that watch the news. When the newscaster is reading the news, they're not reading it like, so today we have the Abuja and there's a lot of getting this information. You could hear in their phonetics, in their energy, in their delivery. So beyond just even your visuals, you need to know how to deliver insights. You need to, and that exudes, and that covers a whole gamut of things: body language, eye contact, your tonality, knowing when to increase your pace. At some point in my career, I was watching discussions and speeches, just watching how to deliver, how to communicate using body languages, your voice, your tonality, knowing when to reduce your pace. Reducing your pace draws in attention, knowing the effects of raising your voice, lowering your voice, increasing how fast you are talking or slowing down how you are speaking. All of these things contributes to how you are communicating information. And as a data analyst, you need to master these skills in best way, and that makes you the best possible analyst, because you're not able to not only communicate your insight, but perhaps this is engaging. So yes, as a data analyst, you have to be a newscaster, and as a data analyst, you have to be a statistician. I don't know if I'm going to statistician. Yeah, the image here. This is Carl Pearson. I think he's called the founder of statistics, from the Pearson coefficient, if you are familiar with it. But yes, you need to be a statistician. You need to have a good understanding of statistics. Not going too much about it. You need to understand what is descriptive analysis. How do you understand the distribution of your data? How do you understand what the distribution of data? What does that mean for your data? What is the meaning of what rates, what are medians, what are modes, what are your standard deviation, what are your variances, what do these different, I feel like we've all, in our secondary school maths, we all calculated these things, but what information does it actually bring to your data? We have discussion on measures of central tendency, we have discussion on measures of variation, or measures of deviation from, measure of variation. You have to have a solid understanding of statistics and mathematics, but primarily statistics. And of course, as a data analyst, you have to be a tech bro, with the glasses, the hoodie, the t-shirts, all the cliche tech bro fit. But also on the skill. You have to have technical skill. You need to be able to deploy a wide range of technical skill in order to generate insight from your data. So let's say your data is in one database. You need to know that data. Say you're very massive, and Excel has an extent to which you can analyze data. Once your data goes in, becomes very analysis. In that kind of scenario, you have to know how to use Python. As I also mentioned, as a data analyst, you also need to be able to create a compelling visualization. You need to be an artist. Other visualization, technical visualization skill sets. So essentially, being a data analyst is not being one thing. It's a contribution to different skill sets. You have to be a detective, you have to be a newscaster, you have to be an artist, you have to be a statistician, you have to be a tech pro. All of these are skill sets that we are pulling from all these different professions, and they are particularly integral in developing yourself as a data analyst. So this just highlights some of the key aspects. Of course, this is a 4-month training, so we won't be able to just even further open your eyes out into areas you want to focus in developing as a person that is interested in data analytics. These are different areas. You need to know how to communicate. Personally, I'm not the most creative person. I don't know how to design and do all of those things, but I have to learn it. and the way I led by inspiration. So I consume a lot of slides. I consume a lot of online dashboard. What I say? Okay, I like how the person did this. I screenshot it. I save it on my phone. I'm taking this idea from this person, and bring it into my own. So you need to know how to communicate data visually, also UV, and then be a statistician. So like I was mentioning, there are some key skills you need to develop as a data analyst. You need to, number one, the technical skills and tools are important and good to have. In my opinion, or in my thoughts, of a greater importance are soft skills. Now, I've touched on a couple of at the end today when I spoke about what the data analyst is, but just to spell it out for the team. Number one, you need to have excellent communication skill. That means that you're not just thinking about how to say something, you're thinking about who you are saying it to. If you are speaking to a layman, for example, to a layman audience, or maybe to a senior executive that have no business understanding what mean and media means, they just want to know how is the business doing? Are we making money? Are we not making money? And you are there programming language to scrape the data, to access the website API to collect this data. After you did that, you applied machine learning models. They don't care about that information. What they want to know is how much are we making? Did we make more than last year? What are the KPIs saying? However, if you are speaking to a more technical audience, so for example, you are an intern in your organization and you are presenting to your manager who is also technically sound, obviously you don't want to skip all the technical things you brought in, because that person is interested not just in your final response but also in your process. So again, communication is not just about how to say what you are saying, but also taking that in and also considering who you are saying it to. Who you are saying to makes up about 80% of how you should communicate to them. You need to be able to speak their language. You need to learn their jargon. You need to speak in a way that they can resonate to. The way you speak to, the way you speak to a marketer, probably somebody in business development, is different from the way you speak to somebody in what team would I call? Somebody is sales, for example. Sales, they want to hear dollar bill, they want to hear money. In business marketing team, they want to hear metric. How many people is seeing our ads online? How many people is engaging with our social media posts? They are thinking click-through rate, they are thinking impression, they are thinking engagement. So these are the terms that you are used to communicate with, because this is their domain. This is what resonates to them. This is what is related to them. So an important soft skill to have as a data analyst, you need to be able to communicate. Another one is you need to identify. So if you remember, I had said something about how as a data analyst, you have to, hold on please. You have to gather data. If your task might come to you like, oh, right now we are seeing a reduction in our online traffic. What is the reason? Why has this happened? And your manager gives that to you that, okay, go and figure it out. The first thing you ask yourself is that really the problem? So there are several frameworks for identifying problems. You have the root cause analysis, which is your 5 why framework, where you ask why. So for example, if you tells you that our online engagement has reduced, the first you ask yourself is why has this reduced? And then you realize that, okay, it reduced because the technical team has added another layer of checkout process to buying something, you ask yourself why the technical team add this extra layer of process. They were like, oh, because people were bypassing this, and people were bypassing your security. You want to make your payment platform more secure, prevent losses from hackers. And then you ask yourself why. So you see how by asking yourself why, you're able to identify the problem itself and not just its symptom. So as a data analyst, that's a core skill you need to be able to develop. Identify problems, because to identify the problem shapes the direction of your analysis. So instead of you spend time, somebody is committed, please.
Please, can you please mute your mic?
Excuse me. Okay, thank you very much. So as I was saying, you need to be able to identify problem, because that shapes the analysis you'll be carrying out. So instead of spending all of your time gathering data, analyzing it, go and solve a symptom, and then there is no direct result of the analysis, because from the onset you did not identify the actual problem. It's very important that you are able to identify the actual problem, not a symptom. So soft skills have identified the problem. You need to be able to solve the problem, in a sense that you need to be able to apply skill 4, analytical thinking, to address the problem of skill 2. Essentially. So what I mean by that is that you need to be able to apply critical thinking, process-based thinking, analytical thinking to the identified problem in order to solve it. Another core skill you need to have is data visualization. You need to be able to communicate your findings visually. People easily consume what they can see. Consumers, I'm sure we here too, as people, pictures and processes, schematic drawings, we are engineers. Schematic drawing provides a wholesome view of a process and allows you to consume and understand that process better than having 10 pages of step 1, step 2, step 3. So you need to be able to understand the different data visualization principles, and that goes beyond just lines and charts. It goes beyond just line charts, bar chart, pie chart. But number 1, colors. You need to know the color wheel, complementary colors. You know where and how to use these colors. You need to know about white spaces. You need to know about grouping. You need to know about categorizing. Data visualization goes beyond just putting together like pie charts, bar chart, and then making all of it just scattered. One thing that I always talk about is like people don't really realize, people read from left top to bottom right. Now, what that should mean to you as a data analyst is that your most important insight should be by your top left side. Like what you want them to see, like the first thing you want them to see should be by your top left side, because you know that human being, or most people, North Africa or Muslims, they read from the right to the left. So that's also where knowing who you are communicating with comes into play. Who is your audience? If you're somebody that reads Arabic, you know that okay, they read from right to left. But if it's somebody else, you want to put information in your top left, and then use that to guide how you position the rest of your charts and whatever you are putting in your dashboard, as case may be. So data visualization goes beyond just lines and charts. It's also a skill that needs to be developed. Another is stakeholder engagement. This also comes in play with communication. Another is stakeholder engagement. This comes into play with communication actually, but you need to know how to engage stakeholder, and that is it comes in play in communication and problem identification. So your manager asks you that why has our online traffic reduced? You need to follow up. You need to understand why this itself is a pain point. Why does this matter to my manager? Why does he want this thing? Why is he concerned about it? Because you need to be able to understand the problem, the impact of the problem, to understand actually meets the problem. And the only way you can do this is if you have solid engagement in ensuring that they are able to understand, you are able to put yourself in their shoe and understand their pain points, and that way we're able to come up with an analysis that fully captures their pain points. Another one is attention to detail. You need to have a very strong attention to detail. And finally, ethical judgment. You need to use data ethically, because you can lie with data. I know people say that I only believe in God, every other person should bring data, but I can bring data to you, hard facts, quote unquote, but that data is still misleading. And that's because the analysis have been carried out with bias, has been carried out with compromised with unclean or untidy data. It's black entries, and you've allowed all of this, knowing, or better, as a person, as an analyst, you want your data, so you now intentionally skew your analysis to meet your own bias. You need to be able to ensure that you are not telling the data a story. You are telling the data story. Let me rephrase that. You are not using the data to tell a story, but you are telling the data story. So you need to be, and that's what I refer to as ethical judgment. You need to be able to analyze data ethically, ensuring that you have removed every element of bias from your analysis, and that what you are presenting to your stakeholder is void of any kind of personal sentiment. But that's really good about soft skills. And then the more popular ones, technical skills. You have programming languages, structured query languages, data visualization and BI, statistics, and then spreadsheets. Programming languages, your Python, R programming. We touched on that a bit yesterday. We have database queries. So there are different flavors of SQL. SQL is structured query languages, and this is how you interface with a database. So if you don't use Microsoft SQL Server, you have MySQL, you have PostgreSQL. Then, as I mentioned before, you need to be able to visualize your data and then leverage these tools to employ advanced visualizations. So Power BI, Tableau, Looker, statistics as well. EDA is referred to as exploratory data analysis, and that helps you to understand your data. Before you can do anything with your data, you need to understand it thoroughly. Throw it up, throw it down, move it left, move it right. Have a good understanding. It's like when you meet somebody to understand it, and that means you need to ask questions, you need to create scenarios, you need time to know people. And then there's also an aspect of statistics called hypothesis testing, but we won't go into too many details. And then, of course, the most fundamental technical skill every analyst should have: spreadsheets. That's Excel or Google Sheets. So the course for the data is going to be taken fully in Microsoft Excel. We're going to be leveraging Excel to share some of these things. But again, it is a tool. It is a means to an end. For us, of course, we're going to be showing technical skills in Excel, but focus less on these different functions. Rather, focus more on how it is being used, its application. So I mentioned as well again, it is very important. There is this misconception: you are not a data analyst because you know how to right, unquote, if you're a data analyst. If you are not a data analyst because you know how Excel functions and formulas, okay, I can press, I know how to use all the different Excel functions. I even know VBA. I know Excel macros. That does not make you a data analyst. You are not a data analyst if you are artistic and can design very aesthetically pleasing dashboards. All of these are aspects of being a data analyst, but just because you can do this does not make you an analyst. You are a data analyst because you can derive value from a data set, and beyond just deriving value, you are able to communicate this value to a stakeholder in a way that causes them to take action. This is what makes a data analyst. So key things: number one, you are able to derive value from data sets. Number two, you are able to communicate this value to a stakeholder. Number three, you do this communication in a way that inspires action from them. Is that there is this full clarity in understanding what data analysis is about. So like I said, every other thing are a means to an end. It's their tools. The actual end is to ensure that your stakeholder are making data-driven decisions, taking data-driven actions. So I think probably might be a short discussion for today because we're almost at the end of the call. But I mentioned earlier that for the course overview, we're going to be looking at Microsoft Excel. That would be the tool of the choice. But focus would be on the data analytics process. We'll discuss more about this going forward. But I would want us to really focus less on how to use data, not how to press Excel, and most on how we can apply it to the data analytics process. In the next class, I will go into more details about what this data analytics process means. But we're going to be starting out with this introduction, and then in our following class, we go into functions and formulas, where we now dive into the different kind of functions that exist in Excel, and then pivot tables and charts. We're going to be going into pivot tables and then charts and how you can leverage this in your analytical process. And finally, we're going to be discussing data visualization and dashboard creation. That will be the last aspect of our course for the data analytics cohort with you guys. So these are one of the key things that we're going to be looking at as we proceed with the course. So I mentioned that going to be activity, but before we go into that, I think we can take in questions and follow up, taking questions now, and we'll just answer them. After that, we go into discussing the activity for this week, and then I'm going to be demoing a project and also the data set we're going to be working with for today's for this 1 more Bootcamp program with you guys. So I think at this juncture, I just want to get questions. If there are any follow-up questions. So the first question, yes, that came from, I'm sorry, I don't really remember the name. I think that was Ritz, I'm not so sure. But you had asked, what is the difference between a data analyst and a data scientist? So I've explained what a data analyst is. A data scientist takes the step a bit further. Data analysts focus more on descriptive analysis, understanding what has happened, and then communicating that insight to kind of suggest what might happen. Data scientists focuses on the future, in the sense that what they do is they build an understanding of the data. They look for patterns essentially. They study this pattern and then they use it to predict future patterns. So mostly in the predictive analysis aspect of things, that's where data science comes into. Now, data scientists have so many different branch outs. You have your AI engineers, you have your machine learning engineers, you have all of these different sub-disciplines are all data scientists, but they leverage data science in doing different things. Your machine learning, your ML engineers are building models to make predictions. That's data science. You are leveraging existing data science algorithms or modeling algorithms, your XG boosters, your random forest model. Just trying to find a fit, identify a pattern, and then using that pattern you identified, try and predict future patterns. So in a way, that's the core difference between data analytics and data scientists. In terms of skills, data scientists require more technical skills and a bit less on the soft skill side of things, because in that case, your aim goal is not always to drive action. Your aim goal is to predict, build models, optimize this model in a way that it's able to more so accurately predict future patterns. So their own KPIs, their own metric of their task is how well can I build a system that can recognize a pattern and then use that to predict. But in data analyst, its main focus is how well can I make my stakeholders move. So I don't know if that answers your question, or if you have follow-up questions to that. Yeah. But yes, you can take in questions and answer, and we'll just try to get into answers now.
I see for the feed.
Thank you very much.
No. For the feed,
so if you have any questions, you can just raise up your hand and I will call you. Meanwhile, I sent the link for the attendance on the in-call message. Please kindly fill it because it will be open for 45 minutes. All right, Emmanuel Adinjo, you can unmute your mic to speak.
Okay, good evening. So thank you very much for this class. Please, I want to first speak about attendance. Please, Glue Network doesn't open that attendance. I don't know why. So I'm looking for a way that isn't Glue to assist the attendance fee. And also, please, for the speaker, thank you very much for the class. I just heard you said you made a mention of Google Sheets and Excel. So I want to know the very difference between the two of them, because I was thinking they're the same thing. So is there a difference between Google Sheets and Excel?
Okay. So there are differences. So of course, Excel is the OG spreadsheet package, but then personally, they are both spreadsheets. They both have very similar functions and syntaxes on how you can write functions. But each of these different, one is developed by Google, one is developed by Microsoft. So each of these different tools, while they do the same thing, some of them have added features that make it more convenient. Like for me, I have a bias towards Google Sheets because of one feature, column stats. So what column stats does is that it gives you an overview of a column. So if you have a numerical column, it gives you a descriptive analysis of that column. Let's say the distribution, the max, the mean, the range. Typically, I will need to do that manually, but Google Sheet, it just brings that out for you. Excel in a different ballgame. Excel has way more functionalities. Excel has way more functionality than Google Sheet. You're able to carry out a whole lot more functions using Excel than what you can do with Google Sheets. However, with Excel, and Excel is also integrated to the whole Microsoft ecosystem. So you could leverage other Microsoft-related tools with your Microsoft Excel spreadsheets, your Outlook, as the case may be. So they have the same function, they are built to do the same thing, but they are built by different organizations. And these different organizations have included unique features that are unique to both of them. So they are both spreadsheet packages, rows and columns, functions and formulas, just minus difference here and there in terms of some unique features that each of these two have. I don't know if that answers your question.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, any other question, please?
All right, thank you very much, Emmanuel. You can be on that. So, if anyone has any question, you can please signify so I can answer you. Hi. Good morning.
Hello.
Hi.
No, go ahead, please.
Yeah, Bello, you can go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the wonderful insight and making analysis become a more understandable concept. My question has to do with Excel and Google Sheet actually. So the thing is, I noticed that like when it comes to like job applications and like when employers specify the kind of skill that they want, they never mention Google Sheet. So what if there's someone, what would you advise someone who is basically like an expert with Google Sheet, that is very familiar with the working system, but has like little knowledge or understanding to how Excel works? Because I noticed that basically they do the same thing, but the basic functions and like the common shortcuts in the two softwares are like totally different. So if that person in that scenario now claims to know how to use Excel, but when he's given work, he uses another software like Google Sheet, as I said earlier, then he presents the work when they request for it in the format that they want. Like, what would you say to that scenario? Or would you just say the person is just going like master Excel as well? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. And I didn't really catch your full question, but I think I got the general idea. And that is just really restating the importance that data analysis itself is not about the tools. It's about the process itself. So whatever tool you are using, of course, you're able to derive value from it. So in terms of you are good at using Excel, but then who you are reporting to was Google Sheets. It's like you've been driving a Toyota and then automatic Toyota, and then someone gives you a Benz. Obviously, Benz has more functionality. You have the back, you have the reverse mirror camera. You have the dashboard with the digital dashboard, all of that. It's still the same thing. It's going to move it forward, moving backward. But it might take you some time to acclimatize to the new functionality of this new car. Similar to Excel and Google Sheets, they are both the same thing. They both have, if you are very good in Excel and you are given a task in Google Sheets, it might take you a while to acclimatize to the new, but in no time, because they are very similar, in no time you will fully adjust to it. I left Excel, but I've done stuff with Google Sheet as well. I've built a dashboard with Google Sheet as well, because that's what they wanted. I don't know why they wanted it, but they wanted it. And it is as long as you have a good understanding of the fundamental, what you want to do, present is not going to be a problem. It might take a bit more time to than it would, because you are more comfortable with Excel, but it's still something that is easily adopted. So in terms of like line or something, if you generalize spreadsheets, I don't think anybody will say, because you know Excel but you don't know Google Sheets, I won't give you a job. That doesn't really make any sense. So regardless, they are both the same thing. They both have a lot of similarities. In fact, they are very similar, like I said before. The only difference is in unique core features, like maybe like shortcuts, and then also some minor things that Google has added and also Excel has added. Also in terms of connectivity, some organizations are wrapped in the Microsoft 365 system, so they prefer to use Excel. Some other like small organizations that use Google or Gmail want to use Google Sheets, the whole Google space. I love Google, the Google ecosystem. It works for me because we all have Gmail accounts, but Microsoft is more corporate organization, structured kind of way. So I don't think anybody would say, you know Excel, but you know Google Sheets, I won't give you a job. That does not make any sense. They are both spreadsheet packages. They both have very similar syntax when it comes to how to write functions and how to write formula and the likes here. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it's probably good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bello, for that question. So, sir, we have another person. It's Anna. You can ask your question now.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, for the teaching so far. So my question is, you stated that the technical skills, that's like the tools for data analysis, and I think they're up to like 10 or something. So I just wanted to ask that, is it like for someone that is learning as a data analyst, is it like all the tools that they're supposed to know, or there are like specific ones that are like very, very compulsory for a data analyst to know? Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much. So, yes, as data analyst, you must not use Excel. It is a non-negotiable spreadsheet package, Excel or Google Sheets, whatever you want to choose. At the most fundamental level, you must know how to use Excel. But again, and following up with that, is still emphasizing it's not about the tool itself. It's about what you want to do with it. Right now, I don't use Python to do anything. I don't use R programming. The project I worked on with R programming, I worked on it because I wanted to showcase that, I know how to use R programming. I put that in my portfolio. For an actual work or as an analyst, I don't. What am I doing with programming? How much did when I can do it with Excel? So it really just depends on use case scenario. You need to be able to, number one, have Excel. That's absolutely fundamental. So if you reach a point where you want to work on a project, but Excel is not able to allow you to work on that project, and then you move on to Python. There's one thing that people do a lot is they accumulate tools and skill sets that they don't really use. I mean, it's good to have them, put them in your portfolio, in your CV. It helps attract employers or potential jobs, as case may be. It helps to have that, but when you get to the real life work application, you realize that you're just spending 1 million things just for it to come back and be using just Excel. So yes, absolutely important to learn is Excel, and then Python too. But Excel still stands above Python in terms of when you actually using data analysis role, the major thing you'll be doing. Primarily, you'll spend like maybe 7% of your time in Excel. And then also SQL as well. You need to know SQL, but all of these are use case scenarios. In your organization, is your data siloed in a database management system that you would need to have SQL to go and start pulling out that data? If not, you can be learning it. I mean, just to have that general knowledge of it, build up the skill, but not absolutely necessary that you have. So all of this is based on use case scenario. Do you want to showcase that you have all those skills? Yes. Go and work on a project with. Go and learn how to do it. Put in your portfolio, you can do it. But I promise you, 60% of the time, you won't really be using a lot of it. Your major use will be Excel. Power BI is also quite important as well. A lot of businesses are looking for skilled people that have the skills in Power BI. So a lot of these skills are just based on, let me get the job. In terms of actual use case, Excel really just covers a lot of what you'll be doing, and that's why I'm focusing on Excel, because Excel have capabilities for data entry, data processing, data analytics, data visualization. So it covers the full gamut of the data analytics process. And every other thing should be done based on a use case scenario. Do you have a reason for doing this? Yes. Okay, let me go and learn it. I want to work on a project that I will need to pull data from a database. How do I put it? I need to learn SQL. Go and learn it, work on that project. So I would like us to think of in that direction. More so, it's good to have all of this. Imagine someone submits your CV and say, I can write in Python, I can write in R programming, I can use SQL, MySQL, PostgreSQL, I can do, I mean, people were like, yeah, I love this, but if that's the case, then go ahead. But I think I lean more towards use case scenarios. So let's say you want to work on a project again that to showcase that you can work, that you know Python. Okay, good. This will help you build up your portfolio. But in terms of actual real life application, the number one tool that's non-negotiable as an analyst is you need to know how to use Excel well. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. We still have some time left. We can take 2 more questions.
Okay, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So I have a question. We have a question on the chat box. So this question is asking about the activity that you posted. So he's saying for the activity
After the Q&A.
Yeah?
We'll get into the activity after the Q&A.
Okay, all right, sir. So if you have any question, you can still raise your hand and I'll call.
Yes, just 1 or 2 more questions before moving into the activity.
These people really say
If there's no question, we can just move. We can just forge ahead.
Okay, sir. So I think there are no more questions.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So, moving on to the activity section. So, I mentioned that we are going to be having activities after every single session. And the reason why it will be structured in this way is because I want us to be able to hold ourselves accountable to our learning. We need to be able to hold ourselves. Obviously, this is not like your course where you have to write an exam, and then you're going to make up your CGPA. So it's very easy to take this learning and then go and sleep with it and just leave it. But we need to be able to hold both ourselves accountable. And the best way of holding ourselves accountable is learning in public. Allowing the public hold you accountable. And that's why we're going to be leveraging LinkedIn a lot. So for today, the activity for this week, and again, I mentioned that consistently, 5 people who consistently engage the activities will receive something at the end of this program that I hope will be of value to you anyways. So yes, the activity for today is make a post about LinkedIn. Speak about how you are enrolled into the Speui Bootcamp Bootcamp for 2026 data analytics cohorts. Talk about what you've learned today. We've spoken about data analytics, who data analysis is, what are the fundamental skills of data analysts, what is not a data analyst, what is not a data analyst. We've spoken about a different idea that really just help people understand who a data analyst is and how to think like a data analyst. Consume this information, think about it, review it, internalize it, and then make a post on LinkedIn, giving your own perspective of what you've learned today, and then also what you're looking forward to. So by posting online, you are holding yourself accountable. Okay, I've said it I told the entire board that I'm learning this thing. I cannot slack. People will come and ask me tomorrow, how far that course is took now. So that way we are holding ourselves accountable to our learning. So that is the rationale behind activities. I really would hope that we're able to really engage this. I look forward, please start with your post so I can react to it, engage it, just keep track of what's happening. So that will be our activities for this week. So I know there's a question concerning the activities. I think we can take that question now.
Yes, sir. So let me see. Okay, yeah. So the question says, is it only on LinkedIn or can they try any other social media?
I mean, absolutely. But for myself, I'm more active on LinkedIn. I'm not on IG or TikTok or anything. LinkedIn is where I really just focus. That's my own bias. So for me to be able to see it, you have to be on LinkedIn. But personally, you can do that any other place. If Facebook, Instagram, whatever platform you are most active in. But I really would want you to do this on LinkedIn as well, because LinkedIn is a professional site. And it's where you're able to document your journey, your professional journey, your career progression. So having this on LinkedIn really just tells a story. Somebody that comes and looks for that, okay, I want to see a professional overview of this person. Having it on LinkedIn really just helps you to develop that progression in your career and how you've developed yourself and your skill in data analytics and how that might progress. So LinkedIn and then any other place that you are more active in as well. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. You've answered the question.
Any follow-up question on the activity, just let me know. So one thing we're going to be doing as well is that as you are making your post on LinkedIn, you are going to be documenting the links to this post on a Word document. So for activity 1, you put in the document your name, activity 1, attach the link to that post in that document. Keep it with you. At the end of the Bootcamp, we're going to be submitting that document to Somto. I'm going to discuss with Somto how we plan on moving ahead with that document. But for each activity 1, now you're done with it. Activity 1, the link to your post on LinkedIn, paste it in that document, and then next week so as well for activity 2, post it on there as well. So we can track how you have gone about each of the activities that has come from each of this discussion. So I'll reach out to Somto sometime this weekend, before this weekend ends, with more detail on how we plan on progressing with that submission. But yes, absolutely important. I want us to be accountable to our learnings, and this is how we are going to be doing that. So I think are we all covered to go? Any other questions? I still have one more now to showcase with the team before we call it a wrap for today. Thank you very much for indulging me for this amount of time.
Thank you very much, sir. So if you have any questions, you can still ask while we are still with us. Okay, so in the absence of no question, can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you.
Okay, so in the absence of no question, I want to thank you very much, sir, for taking us this.
Oh no, I'm not done yet.
Okay, sir. Okay, so we have our president. His hand is raised up. Mr. Yomide, please, you have the floor.
The next question will be 5, but I'm not done yet. I still have one more now to showcase to the team. So, Ayo, you can go ahead, please.
All right, sir. Good evening. Thank you so much for the presentation. Well done, Sunto, for the moderation too. Yes. So, please, I have a question because my question lies on the fact that as a data analyst, what keep you going? Like, what's the thing that keep you going? Because last year, right, beginning of last year, about the first 3 months of last year, I embarked on a physical training on data analytics, like a very intensive one. And during my IT, then I was focused on data analysis, wanting to become a data analyst. But immediately we resumed school, like I stopped doing anything like analysis. I didn't really like. Even when I see, even up till now, when I see data like this, I'll be looking somewhat like tired. I'll be like, well, I don't know how to do this thing again. Like, I'm finding it hard to actually remember this thing because I do not used to actually practice it. But when I resume back to school, I actually relented. I just dropped everything aside. I just focused on my academics and some of my duties I had on campus. You understand? So, like, what keeps you going as a data analyst?
Okay, that's a very good question. I think I would respond for it more from a personal side of it. I feel like number one, oh wow, hold on please. Okay, good. Sorry, I just got a notification that my battery was low, so I ran to go and charge it. So yeah, I'll respond to that from a personal point of view, in the sense that, number one, school is absolutely challenging. Doing school is absolutely challenging. Merging school and developing a skill is absolutely it's not easy. Great. But whatever we are doing, so whenever we feel tired or feel down or feel unable to or unproductive, we should not feel bad.
Okay. But if they drive, they push out.
So just have that, hold that close to you. Give yourself grace in your learning. Because even myself, I started doing myself within analysis in 2022 during the strike. I'm sure we all remember the 2022 strike. That was very, very horrible. But when we resumed school back, I got back into being a geophysicist. I was active in school in geophysicists, in geoscientists. One of me is analyst. I'm also a geophysicist. I have experience in seismic interpretation, petrol, hydrocarbon process delineation, mapping horizons, the whole gamut of geosciences and all of those things. And when I resumed back, that's why I resumed to. We had competition. We had the BEC, that's NAPI Business Evaluation Competition. I was representing my school in a competition.
Promise go service if you come.
So I left it.
That is it.
I went to focus, but however, again, it's not the truth. Every day, you don't learn something once. As long as you have a drive for it, and I believe the fact that you are here means that you do. As long as you understand that having this skill is valuable and you have that drive for it, doesn't matter how many times you forget it, you're gonna learn it again. What I'm saying to you guys now, some of them have forgotten it before, and I came back to and I've learned it again as I'm putting my slides together. Oh yeah, actually I learned about this thing before. If you have to write an Excel formula, let's say you want to find out maybe something, I might need to go back to ChatGPT. ChatGPT, I want to do this, give me the Excel formula to do it. But the key thing is that I have a good understanding of the fundamentals, the data analytics process. It's very easy to learn tools, it's very easy to forget how to use tools, but as long as you've built a strong foundation in how to think like an analyst, how to look at data and how to derive value and communicate, they don't leave you. Once you've built this on repetition, it does not leave you. You might forget how to write formulas and functions. You might forget how to write this code. You might encounter bugs, but as long as you've built that lifestyle of knowing or not knowing, that lifestyle of the data analysis process, it will not leave you. So I'll say a couple of things. Number one, it's not easy learning a skill and doing school. Give yourself grace. Number two, it's okay to forget how to use Excel. It's not something you learn once and then it's always there. Repetitive. It doesn't matter how many times you forget it. The time you want to use it back, go and learn it again. It doesn't matter. Go and learn it again. And I promise you, it will take a lesser time learning it the second time and it did when you learn it the first time. So yes, it's okay for you to forget this needs. Always be open to relearning and learning it over and over again. You would always forget it. There's no, but even your big coders and your top tech guys now, they still use ChatGPT to code. But the difference is that they have a good understanding of the fundamentals, what this different code block is doing. So in cases where AI is hallucinating, they're able to pinpoint it and troubleshoot it. So yes, give yourself the opportunity to always relearn. And number two, your focus should not be on learning how to use the tool. Again, and that has really been the essence of putting this slide together, this course together. It should be more so building the skills in the data analysis process, wrangling data. I don't want to give you guys spotlights for next week, but yes, I'm not go too much into that. But I hope that answers the question. Hope I'm not muted.
They give them that for the growth.
Yes, I did.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's good. So if there are no other follow-up question, I think we are a bit short for time. So I'll just move on to something I went to flow with the.
Now the same time, not the same. Now the same product.
With the
Okay, not the same thing.
today.
Okay.
Let me just share my entire screen. So this was the project that I worked on. Let me just do the entire screen. Although it's a bit scattered now, I just realized that it was scattered after when I put it recently. I wasn't able to edit it. But it was a project that I worked on that I came second energy tech. And although I used Power BI to build this dashboard, we are going to be building something similar to this using Excel. And this will be the final outcome of our Bootcamp program. Now, if you can see this dashboard now, you can see stuff that you can relate to. Oil production, gas production, water production, oil production trend. You can see your gas production trend. You can see your water production trend, and you can see it across different wells, hydrocarbon wells. If you come here, you can also see your production data in the sense that you can see your water cuts. You guys are petroleum engineers, you know what water cuts means. You can see your wellhead pressure. You can see your tubing pressure. This was what I built, and the idea of it was having a dashboard of visualization where we're able to monitor the performance of your assets. It's an asset performance monitoring dashboard. So you're able to see which of your wells are performing the best, which of them are performing the worst, and then you now have this production data that provides you with diagnostics context to why your wells are performing the way they are performing. So you could see, for example, an increase in water cuts. Let me just ask a question to the petroleum engineers here. Who can tell me what water cut is? Petroleum engineers, answer me. What is the meaning of water? I can hear you.
Okay, so water cut is the amount of water. The percentage of water found in the reservoir, or the way that the well is put in.
So how is it computed? How is the water cost computed? Petroleum engineers, don't fall my hands down. But anyways, don't spend too much time. Your water cost is your water production divided by your complete fluid production. That is your water over your water plus oil. And if you're having a high water cost, that means you are producing a lot of water compared to oil. So what that means is that is bad. So all the wells that the water cost is going up, something is bad is happening to them. Why is the water production going up so far? I mean, up to here, we're having up to 92% water production, water cost. That is horrible. At this point, shut down this well. So this is where domain and contextual knowledge comes into play. But I want to just demo this to the petroleum engineers and mostly petroleum engineers here. I feel like we're going to relate more to this product, this data. I got this data is a pseudo data, obviously. It's not from an actual well field. And it was from SPE, Data Science, DSEATS. I think it was from 3 years ago. I got the data from my friend that participated in the competition at the time. So I'm going to be sharing this data with the team, and we're going to be working with this data to build our own dashboard. This was not with Power BI, of course, but we're going to be doing it with Excel. So I hope it's just to whet our appetite for what's to come. And at the end of this bootcamp, every participant here should have a project or an analysis. It could be a report, it could be a dashboard, but there should be a tangible outcome from this event. And we're going to be doing it based off this data. So I think for this week, you can also start doing your research. Production data, what is your water cuts, your well pressure, what does that mean? Your tubing pressure, what does that mean? Annulus pressure, annulus is the space between your casing and your tube. Your downhole pressure, what does this all mean? If I have a high water cut, is that good to my well? Is that bad to my well? If I have a high tubing pressure, is that good to my well? Is that bad to my well? What are the contextual all these things. Yeah, to relate more. I know that there are other people that are here that are not petroleum engineers, but I guess majority are petroleum engineers. So please, you can reach out to your petroleum engineering friends to get more context of what this means. But so from our next week, after each discussion, we're going to be applying what we learn to this data. I think I can just even display the data. I think, hold on a bit. Our space. Semantic model. I should be able to display. Yeah. I'm not able to display the data. Hold on a bit. Let me find this thing. Looking at reports. Second level. No, I clicked the wrong thing. So yeah, people can display the value once in a table format. But yes, I'm going to be working on this. But this data is already cleaned, so I'm going to be intentionally getting this data and then giving it to you so that we can apply everything that we learn in information classes, and then again we are learning in public. So I really appreciate it if you guys really engage, just so that we can derive value from the time we are spending here. So I think at this point we kind of end the discussion for today. Are there any follow-up questions? Follow-up questions regarding the project, what to expect? Let me know. We have just 4 more minutes for today's session, so we can take those questions now. Questions, anything, let me know. I see that there are no hand raised. That's wonderful. I'm absolutely looking forward to seeing your posts. Okay, we have a call from a hand raised from Mercy. We can take Mercy's question, just our last question for today.
Hello, can you hear me, please?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, let me go ahead with my question. So you highlighted what we should write on our post on the technical activity. Please, can you probably maybe list it out and send it to the group chat, because you mentioned it and you just said it out, and I don't want to miss out on any particular point on what to write on the LinkedIn post.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you just send it to the group chat.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I want to use right from your own perspective. I only just give suggestions. Like, we spoke about these things. We're all in the class together. So what did you learn from the time you've spent here? So what are the suggestions? I really want you to see from your own perspective what you took out from what we've discussed today. I don't know if that works for you.
That's fine.
All right, thank you very much. So, and I am looking forward. I'm very active on LinkedIn. Just a slight brag. Last year I was top 0.05% LinkedIn user globally, and that means that out of 365 days, I was on LinkedIn for 344 days. I'm very active on LinkedIn, so I'm looking forward to seeing all of your posts. My full name is Daniel Obin Naduzi. That's me on LinkedIn. Yeah, you will find me there. Tag me to your post, talk about what you've learned, and we can see how to. I definitely will be seeing everything, and I will react to as many as possible. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing all of it. Yeah, so I think that should be our last question for today. So thank you very much for joining in. I think I'll hand over to moderator to wrap up the discussion for today, and good night, everybody.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel.
And also, please track NPUI as well. Tag our organizers, please. Please don't forget to tag our organizers. They've been wonderful. So sorry, over to you again, Softo.
Alright, so thank you very much. It's a pleasure having you tutors in this course. So, Mr. President, sir, please, do you have anything to say?
Alright, I just have a few things to say, Gary. I just have a few things to highlight. Yeah, thank you very much, Sir Daniel, for like the wonderful class. I think when we were having discussion regarding the data analysis, you told me that you were going to like bring the reality of data analysis to our students. That it's not only about the tools. That some of us we limit what we can do because we are afraid that we don't know how to use this tool. We don't know how to use this tool, so you cannot even proudly call yourself a data analyst. So it goes beyond that, right? With this presentation today, I hope all of us have been able to see that it actually goes beyond the technical tool. It goes beyond how you can actually make use of data to actually get out information that you need, right? So I want to encourage us all to actually stay consistent. Data analysis is just going to be 5 classes, right? If I'm correct, 1 class per week, right? Please just make sure you stay consistent and come to class regularly just to learn. Don't come because you want to come and fill attendance and get certificate. To be honest, right, everything still boils down to you, right? And if you can see, Mr. Daniel has said it a whole lot of times that he has a lot of things packed for us. You're going to be building project that you can put on your portfolio that you did, right? You can be proud that okay, you're able to come up with get a real oil and gas data, and you use that oil and gas data, you transcribe it into better information, you're able to build dashboards, right? So all this, look at the charts showed us the other time, showing the water course and all of that, right? In petroleum engineering. And you might be on the call that you are not a petroleum engineering student. It doesn't mean that you can't participate in these exercises. Because right now, the energy industry really do not care whether you are a petroleum engineering student, you are not a petroleum engineering student. The energy industry care about who can actually solve the problem. So having to have this knowledge is a great opportunity for you to penetrate into the industry. So please, I would like you all to pay attention whenever this problem. If you don't really have petroleum engineering background, ask questions. The tutor is going to answer you. I guess the tutor he was like a geophysicist. Yeah, he's a geophysicist. So like he knows more about subsurface. Yeah, let me put it like that. He might not know more about like let's say this petroleum technical terms like all these rigs and all these rigs component. Though he's currently working in oil and gas company, so he actually have knowledge on that, right? Based on his experience. I'm just saying, you understand what I'm trying to say. So please, if you know you are not a petroleum background too, you can always like capitalize on your friends that are also on the training and also on the tutor to ask questions. You understand? So you cannot get what's like you don't know if you don't ask. You understand? So please, I want to encourage you also to stay consistent with the class. Don't let today be the last day show up for this class. Yeah. Aside that, please do your assignment, and I wish us the very best for the rest of the month. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So we'll be ending the call right now. So thank you very much for attending, and please don't forget, we are going to be having another class next